Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to Variety Talk Live. Usually I would say Variety Talk Live from Las Vegas, but we are actually where? In the heart of Michigan. So I just want to welcome everyone to the show. We're doing something very, very special. We've brought Variety Talk Live from Las Vegas all the way to where? All the way to Michigan. All right. Of course, as we all know, this is a very, very important time. This is all about voting. And we have had President Barack Obama come in, and he's been here for 2 nights with a concert with Stevie Wonder. We've had uh, uh, both our future president and vice president, Kamala Harris, as well as Joe Biden, come in, and they've been in twice. And of course, President Trump has been in several times as well. So as we all know, Michigan is a very, very important state, and we are one day before the final vote, and that is it. So first of all, I just want to let everyone know and encourage everyone to please get out there and vote. Frankly, that's what this show is all about. We are here in the great state of Michigan. We brought our show right here as well. We're still going to be Variety Talk Live from Las Vegas, and we're still West Coast based, but we are right here in Michigan in the heart of things so that everyone can, we can be participatory as well as far as all of this voting is concerned. So I just want to let you know also that I went out and voted, moi, this morning, and it wasn't as bad as you think, or as you may think. I couldn't sleep. I was literally up, and should I get up at 4? Should I get up at 5? I didn't know. I had to do all the changing around of the absentee ballot and re-registering and all of this crazy stuff just to be able to vote. And I was so nervous about the lines being long. And guess what? I walked straight in and I got my paperwork done and I voted. So everyone, it's not as crazy as you may hear about, or at least it wasn't for me. So I hope that is inspiring and encouraging. So it looks like our phone callers are on the line. So before we get them on, I just want to let you know what this show is all about today. The first half of this show, we are recognizing All Souls Day. It is November the 2nd, and we're celebrating at this point over 240,000 from what I believe our last number is from the COVID deaths that have taken place. And one of them most recently being Mr. Sean Connery. And so we are going to actually just recognize all of the people who have lost their lives already. And we will do a formal memorial for those people in the upcoming weeks. But for today, we want to remember Sean. And we have with us on the show someone who is very significant, who knew him well, actually two people, one of which was the very first African-American James Bond girl. So without further ado, let's get her on the phone. Trina Parks, are you here?
Yes, I am. And is there some way you can bring up your voice a little?
Okay, well, let's check with Henry on that.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Okay, it looks like they're going to get that covered. It looks like maybe
okay.
I need to get a little closer to the mic. So can you hear me a little better?
A little bit, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, wonderful.
Oh,
That's all on me. Henry has done a
okay.
wonderful job. This is all me. I don't really like being up on the mic, so that's all about me. Well, first of all, welcome to the show, Trina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you today?
I am doing just fine. I mean, the weather is just fine today so far in Atlanta, Georgia. It is a little bit. I'm actually from New York, so I know about the cold. But I've been in California, especially in Palm Springs, for many years since from '02. Where I was actually the first African American in the Follies, Palm Springs Follies, there until um, 8 '08, and then I joined and I formed my own dance company, and I did wrote a production, and I left there in '15 to come here because my daughter lives here, and her father has passed away, but she said, come here. So things change after a certain age, and the daughter becomes the mother, and so I did come. I did move here, but the weather is a little different.
Well, I can imagine. I can imagine. And so, first of all, we spoke about this a bit yesterday, and I
Yeah.
think it's a great thing to actually start out in New York, and then go to Palm Springs and take up residency there, and then
Yeah.
go into Atlanta, which is now almost the new mecca for Hollywood. So
Yeah.
you're right there with Tyler Perry and everyone else. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
But listen, we just wanted to thank you for coming on, because this show is a dual has
Yeah.
dual purpose. The first
Mhm.
purpose is to actually recognize that it's All Souls Day, and we wanted
Mhm.
to give our condolences to you,
Thank you.
who has worked as the first African
Yeah.
American actress with Sean Connery. And
Yeah.
we also wanted to invite you to just give your thoughts on voting. And we're
Mhm.
encouraging everyone, in as much as this is the
Right.
uh, last day before the day, to
Mhm.
get that vote out there. So, so that's pretty
Right.
much the order that we'll do it in. So, first of all, let's
Mhm.
just get started with a little bit of your career. I just want to give a little background to the Variety Talk audience as far as the wonderful things that you've done. And you've actually started out in dancing
Yeah.
as a very
Mhm.
young girl. You
Right.
actually went into ballet at,
Mhm.
what do I have here? The age of what? 6 years old. So,
Six. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
I was
So
six.
you started out in that, and tell us a little bit about your career in dancing as a youth.
I actually, like you said, I started, training when I was six at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, and in Brooklyn, and in ballet, and I actually from there went on to taking modern dance classes at the center in Harlem when my father moved to Harlem, 138th and Madison, and of course there was a class that was being taught at the center, 135th Street, and so I started taking classes there at that with that teacher, and then she introduced me to Olatunji Babatunde, if anybody knows of him, African, very well-known African dancer, drummer, and so I had the modern, the ballet, and now the African dance, technique in me, and so when I was, I took the audition when I was in, junior high school, took the audition for the High School of Performing Arts, New York High School of Performing Arts, and I went there as to take a for ballet because I wanted to be in the ballet department. And again, I was the only black person there, student there, taking the audition. And after the audition, I was approached by the modern teachers, which were the Graham's master teachers there that were in Martha Graham's company, actually. And they asked me if I would like to come back for the modern department. And I thought to myself, I didn't say I didn't want to come back. Of course, I was like 13, whatever, 14. And so I said, yeah, but I wanted to be in the ballet department. Well, fast forward is that I did get the audition. Came back the next week, but I found out that um, they at that time, and you're talking about 61, weren't accepting black female ballet, the ballerinas into the dance department until up until the 70s. And that was going into go into a little bit of the voting situation. I was young when, my father, grandfather, mother was, really downgraded and saying that they, can't vote for this way or that way, and they were really fighting out there for blacks to vote, and so we should know that now, young people now know that it was fighting so much for us to vote back then, and we have to respect that and get out and do that and vote for. I'm not going to say for who, but
Well, that's okay. We don't mind. No, you can't. But thanks for being cognizant
but
of that. We appreciate it, and more importantly, thank you so much for being such a great person to interview. That I didn't even have to go on the question. You were just right there with your
it was.
um, answer as far as your experience with voting, and it's so
Hmm.
important that you shared that with us, particularly because you are the icon, the person. You are just legendary
Oh,
in the
thank
respect that you are the first African American
you.
female to actually act with Sean Connery. So that goes down in history. That will never be forgotten. It's
Yes,
just an
thank
always
you.
always thing. And so I'm going to kind of fast forward us to Live at the Apollo, and you did some work there. And Mom's Mabley
Oh
was
yeah.
the opener for you, or you were the opener for her, I presume. With your what did you do?
Well, what was it on the bill? Well, I didn't get to that, but right, I started to take classes at Catherine Dunham School because the Dunham School was on 42nd and Ninth, and the high school PA, which is Performing Arts, was on 46th and Broadway. So I would just walk up to her school a few days in the week, after school, and take classes with her and all of her original, members of her company.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught. So since I had that modern and ballet and African dance already technique in me, it was very easy, pretty much, for me to grasp her technique, which is based in Haitian technique.
Wow.
But she has a specific bar, Dunham bar, which of course I've been teaching Dunham since 1970 all over the country. But it is something that I really love. It's hard. It's harder than any ballet specific bar. It's a very specific kind of technique. But so she asked me if I'd like to join the company and perform at the Apollo, which was 64. And so, of course, I couldn't do all most of the dances. I could only do one main, which was her iconic Shango dance, and one short dance, Cuban number, because I was still in school and I couldn't go to rehearsals all the time, and stay out
Well,
late and
well,
all that.
well. We're just very, very happy, and I'm sorry, just for time's sake, I'm speeding it up
Okay.
because, and I'm going to tell you, I cannot wait to get you to do the exclusive as we've been promising for a while here, because your story has to be told, and I would love to get you
Okay.
back as soon as possible to give you a full exclusive on your story. It's great. But
Thank
because
you.
we're splitting this up, why don't we share with the audience? And it's a sensitive time right now for you. So, first of all, thank you for just coming out to share your story with us, with Sean Connery. And
Thank you.
just let us know, what that was like to work with him and what your thoughts and feelings are about everything at this point.
You wanted me to say that now?
Yes.
Okay. At first, I thought you meant later when you come up with that.
Oh,
I
no,
thought
no,
that's
this
what you
is good
wanted
right
me
now
to.
because we also have a surprise for the audience and we want to
Yeah.
make sure we have time to do that. So,
Yeah.
in just maybe
Mhm.
a couple minutes, let us know what it was like to work with Sean Connery.
Just wonderful. I know I didn't know him, didn't know anything about the movie. I have never seen the Bond movie before, but I was cast. I had three auditions when the people, casting people and director, producer, and all came in from London and requested me to come in, and the character needed to be a dancer, a strong dancer, but also knew karate. And I knew the La Agya karate from being taught by Ms. Dunham. So that's basically, I had those two things that they needed. And in my last audition, I had to do all different kind of movements and all to get for
What?
the part.
Why
First
did they
one,
choose an African American female? Did they
I
tell
you
you?
it is the question I've been asked over and over for years and years. I have never been told that. Why? I didn't ask. I didn't. First of all, like I said, I had never seen a Bond movie. I didn't even know who Sean Connery was. I had performed on Broadway with several names, but I didn't know who he was. And but it was just working with another actor, well-known actor. But my agent never said to me, well, they specifically wanted African American. I never got any kind of comment like that.
Well, what was
I
his disposition like in terms of working with you? Were you very comfortable with him?
Oh
Was he
yes,
comfortable with
yes.
you? And so he,
We worked together as if we had before, and he was so gracious. He was so very. We took several, pictures on the set. When the set photographer would go around and take pictures of us randomly. I've got a lot of pictures. Some of the pictures I see, when did I do that? We were just like talking and, between set changes and things like that. Very
beautiful,
comfortable shoot.
beautiful. Well,
Yeah. Mhm.
what we're going to do now is because this is, when you, how do they say it? Time goes fast when you're having
Yeah.
fun.
Having
So
fun.
we have someone that we'd like to bring on and introduce as the surprise because not only did you work with him, but you have a friend, and thank you for sharing your friend with our Variety Talk
Oh,
audience
you're
who
welcome.
also worked with Sean Connery. And,
Mhm.
everyone loved him, and everyone, I'm sure, is mourning his passing.
Yeah.
And so the more information they can get on this legend, the better for us as well. So thank you for sharing your friend's story. And I'll let you introduce her to the Variety Talk audience.
Okay. This is Miss Pat Gill, and she was actually in the scene at the. She can correct me, but I think it was Caesars or one of the big clubs in Vegas that the comedian had they had a scene with he and these showgirls, and she was one of the showgirls, and she can tell you more about it. But we actually didn't meet because she shot the scene in Vegas, and mine was in Palm Springs. But we've recently, of course, we've spoken on the phone.
And it
Very
was
nice.
the same. It was the actual same film, and
Yeah,
just so
it was Diamonds Off Ever. Yeah, it was
diamonds
just
are forever. I was
uh-huh.
just going to
And
say for
mhm.
everyone who may want to go back and Google that or take a look at it. And you were Thumper, the
I was
character
Thumper.
Thumper in there. All
Yeah,
right, so
I was
everyone, without further ado, we'd like to introduce someone else who actually dated Elvis Presley at that time. And I can't wait for you to hear the story as to how she actually got chosen for this particular film. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce Pat Gill. Pat, welcome to the
Hello?
show.
Hello?
Hi, Pat Gill.
Yes.
How are
Can you
you?
hear me? Because there's craziness going on with the phone. But thank you, Trina.
You're
And
welcome.
I just wanted to let you know, sweetheart, we did actually meet in Palm Springs. I was down there just for fun. Sean had brought me down to Palm Springs because we'd had so much fun. I wasn't part of the movie, but I met you down there, and then I went off to Mexico to do a show. But I was originally born in South Africa, and I started my dancing just like Trina when I was 6. I didn't do ballet, but I did modern and tap and acrobatic because I wanted to join a circus. And unfortunately, in South Africa, there was no such thing as television, so that didn't come until 1976. The government wouldn't allow it. But I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and I decided to, at 13, I won the South African Acrobatic Championship, and I decided at 15, going on 16, I'm leaving to take up my career, and I went to Paris, and I got accepted in the Moulin Rouge as a chorus girl, and then I was promoted to the principal, and then the last show, Fascination, was built around me, and that's when I decided, well, it's time to go off to Las Vegas, but before that I stopped off in Rome. I did a television show called Canzonissima with Maurice Chevalier, and I was just a dancer, and Gino Landi was the choreographer. And all along my path, I took lessons from all kinds of people. But to cut it short, let's go fast forward to Vegas, which I came here in the end of 66, December 66, to work at the Dunes in a show called Casino de Paris, and then later on I was starring in Vive les Girls. And that's where the unbelievable happened, because I didn't know anything either about... I'd seen Sean Connery in Africa in Dr. No, so I knew who he was. But he and Cubby Broccoli came to see the show, and turns out I looked just like Sean Connery's ex-wife, and he was blown away. He said, her name is Diane Cilento. And he said, he came backstage to meet me and said, you've got to be in the show. And it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it. And so we filmed a lot of stuff at the Dunes. We also filmed at the Tropicana and a few other places, but those were places that I had gone to. One of the lines I had in the show with Sean was cut because you could see partial boobie. But you know what? That's the way it was. I was in a showgirl outfit, and he was truly dynamite and one of the classiest gentlemen I've ever worked with. Had an amazing sense of humor, and we truly had so much fun here when, in what was it, 71, when Vegas was Vegas. I mean, and I took him and a couple of other people from the cast. We'd go out catching places that they would never get to go to. I took him to the Chateau Vegas one time at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I pointed out people. I said, you see, that's Tony Spilotro, and that's Lou Beans over there, and you can have a gourmet meal at 3 in the morning. He couldn't believe that, you know. But we just truly had a blast, and it was very kind of him to invite me to Palm Springs, where, like I said, I did meet Trina Parks. But I can't, I'm overwhelmed by, you know, our loss, because he truly was an amazing individual. And God bless him, he's in a better place now, and he reached 90 years old, bless his heart. That's absolutely amazing. But, I've been blessed. I worked all over the world, Paris, Stockholm, Copenhagen. I was in the Broadway musical Chicago. I played Murderous Liz. And I've just been blessed everywhere and worked with phenomenal people.
And you've also worked in the film The Grasshopper with Jacqueline Bisset,
That's right.
Jim Brown.
There's so much stuff that I've done that I've forgotten about. And since I've recently been the victim of a fire, somebody set fire to the building.
Oh, no.
And I'm going through seeing what is left and what I still have, and coming across stuff, and I'm going, oh, I forgot I did that. Like I was also a June Taylor Tapper in, they all came from Florida to do a show at the Caesar's Palace. And they needed one girl because she couldn't make it here, and so they had auditions. Over 800 people showed up for the audition, and I was fortunate enough to get the part. And we did the filming at Caesars, and so technically I can say I was a June Taylor dancer. And just to add a little humor to this, I happen to be the second African American because I was born in Africa and I became an American citizen in 1982. So technically, I'm an African American too, even although I'm white.
All right. Well, you know what? Hey, that's what's making the world go around, right? And
Absolutely.
we
And,
appreciate you
politics
sharing
sort of.
that
Mhm.
very important information. And trust me, both Trina and Pat, this information is so important,
Hmm.
legendary. It's history. Our children and our children's children need to know what
Yes.
both of you have done, and
Yes.
all of the glass ceilings that you've broken through just to get to where you are
where
right
we
now.
where we were. I
Yeah,
mean, she's still
and
performing. I can't
briefly,
because of physical injuries and stuff. But I mean, I went through apartheid in South Africa. That was horrible, absolutely horrible. And so I didn't have any issues with voting. And actually, I already voted last week. So let's get out there and vote. We need to, do our thing for our country. We worked so hard to be able to vote, and so let's not just let it slide out of our hands. Women and African Americans, let's get there and do our thing. That's the way I feel about it.
you know
And
what?
I think,
You both are precious. You've just
oh,
made my very first day in this studio just off the charts easy. And you know what? That goes to show the professionalism and who made the right decision when they chose both of you in Diamonds Are Forever. And we actually have to say goodbye, but I am so
okay,
pleased to have both of you join us
Thank
on the
you.
show. You're
thank
wonderful
you. It was my
ladies.
pleasure, and thank
And
you for recommending me, Trina, because
You're
it's.
welcome.
My part in the movie, by the way, was Shady Tree's Acorn,
Oh.
and the comedian in the middle and the showgirl on either side. So that's who I am. I'm an acorn.
And we didn't even get a chance to talk about all of the conversation when you dated Elvis Presley back there, but that's okay. That just means that we have something for the next time, and you are certainly invited back on. So
Okay, love.
both Pat Gill and Trina Parks. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yes.
You
Thank you.
ladies, thank you for joining us on our You Must Vote Day right here from the heart of Michigan. And both of you, we wish you well as you go forward. And we
Thank
send
you.
speedy healing blessings to you in regards to the
Thank you.
loss of
Yes.
your
I
friend,
appreciate
Sean
that. God bless
Connery.
you guys as well. Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you soon, Trina, okay?
You too.
All right. We'll see
Okay.
you
Sending
guys
you a
in
big hug,
Vegas real
darling.
soon. Take care.
Okay. Take care. God bless.
All
Bye-bye.
right,
God bless.
everyone, you're
Bye.
watching Variety Talk live from, I was about to say from Las Vegas, from Michigan, and we'll be back in a moment. I'm your host, Linda Leak, and you're sitting in live right here from Michigan. We'll see you in a minute.